I don't know exactly why you're watching this. Maybe to improve writing skills, to become a 5-star editor and proofreader, or to ensure readers can't stop reading your story. But whether to fulfill one of these goals or to pass your time during a flight to Antarctica, I know and I'm sure that this course will provide the information you seek. To tell the truth, I'm currently writing a book, and the information I arranged here bounced my story's writing level way up. I realized how essential it is for writers to know both story and standard editing methods, at least the basics, and this course is a great place to start. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Nitai. I'm an English and Hebrew translator, proofreader, and transcriptionist at Upwork. And I made this lessons-packed course based on years of experience in editing and proofreading. What? You want me to prove my experience? Well, instead of saying, I made this valuable course, I decided to replace such a boring adjective with a noun and a verb, lessons-packed. This is one of many actions an editor does to enhance writing, and one of many actions you will learn during this course. What hidden gems of knowledge await you? Master the basics of editing. Like when diving for the first time, practicing in shallow waters, the first 5 lessons will introduce you to editing before we can dive deeper. I won't waste your time with exhausting explanations about the lessons, but we should still go over the material. The first few lessons will teach you basic stuff like editing jobs pricing range, the common jobs in editing, and what types of editing exist. In the 4th lesson, you will learn to type faster with keyboard shortcuts and discover an AutoCorrect software that helps spot spelling and grammar errors in English. And last, I will teach you how to use Word when editing text. Of course, if you already have editing experience, you can skip some of these lessons and jump to the next section. Standard editing checklist. The following list of lessons is for editing any topic and type of text. Whether you're editing an article, a scientific paper, or a book, the information in the next lessons will help you correct and improve text in any situation, even in space. Books editing checklist. A fiction novel, a short story for children, or even a biography book. The next list of lessons will include all you need to know to enhance every story's writing and structure. And I'm sure that even an experienced writer will learn here a thing or two. Even I did, although I'm not an experienced author yet. Editing practice activities. The last 3 bosses of your adventure. Have a bite at the 3 common niches of editing. I hope that this section will direct you toward the type of editing that fits you, and if not, then at least boost your confidence in those areas. But I'm sure that after all those wonderful lessons, you will be full of confidence anyway. The final lesson is super secret and you must buy the course and finish your journey to know what's in store. Alright, since you asked so nicely, I will tell you. In this lesson you will learn your last skill and I will talk about the second part of the course. So what are you waiting for? Join my course and make your text more engaging and professional than ever before. Or pass your time during a flight to Antarctica. That's fine too. Ladies and gentlemen, we arrived at the Introduction to Editing Island. The island is known as the home of 2 famous boxers, and I will give you tickets to the front row in their upcoming battle. Editing versus proofreading. Who will win? Well, depend on the type of editing you need. Editing involves making changes and suggestions to improve the writing and story's quality. It focuses on the core features of writing rather than surface-level issues. An editor will pay attention to boring or redundant text that he or she can improve and even review the story structure. He aims to make writing more readable and engaging, not to fix grammar or spelling mistakes. He might, but that's not his job. That's when our second fighter enters the ring. Proofreading has less ambition than editing and thus is a cheaper service, but it still performs a vital role. Proofreading is the process of correcting surface errors in writing, such as grammar, spelling, punctuation, and other language mistakes. For example, before writers publish their articles, a proofreader checks their work. He omits typos or grammar errors and helps avoid an unprofessional look to their paper. But story writers prefer to pay for an editing process before anything else. It's more important for them to make a captivating book with writing that draws more readers than a book with no typos. With enough budget for both processes, here is the usual order in which they appear. Editing is step 2, step 1 is writing of course, and proofreading is step 3. And in this course, we will focus on the fighter standing on the arena's left side, the one who always thinks about the audience's feelings when they read. Let's meet him in a detailed manner. These are two sections of the course I want you to use as checklists whenever you edit. There will be 7 areas you will always check as seen in the standard editing checklist. And if you are editing a story, there will be 7 more topics to pay attention to in the book's editing checklist. For those who wish to work in editing, let me show how much to ask for as a beginner or an expert. As a beginner, requesting payment of 3 cents per word is reasonable since you have yet to gain any job reviews or work history. Later on, you can try asking for 6 cents per word and see how it goes. I calculated these rates based on payments for editing jobs on Upwork, and while different languages mean different charges, the prices here are customary for most languages. As for hourly rates, a beginner should request around $15 per hour. The low price will allow clients to hire you despite your lack of experience. After gaining enough work history, you may request $20, $25, or even $30 per hour. When I had a low hourly rate as a beginner, a client gave me 7 hours to finish editing his article. Except I finished the job after 4 hours. But since my client was pleased with my work and early delivery, he paid me for all 7 hours. My suggestion is, don't worry about low hourly rates, rather think about what price will fit your client's budget and start gaining work history in varied fields. Your expertise means you can demand higher rates. Having a background in particular fields allow you to charge more in that niche. Search editing jobs where your prior knowledge exceeds others. Still, even if you don't have a degree to wave at your clients, you can expand your work history in a specific niche and lure clients with that. I have piles of work proof in translating apps, and when clients need someone to translate their app strings, I always catch their eyes instead of 10 others. It's important to get an accurate overview of the project you are about to start on. Sometimes, a client will send you a sample that screams the word mistakes and needs fixes for every second or third word. In such cases, asking for a higher payment is also sensible. I once received a 20 pages sample of a short novel to proofread, yet I refused to do it since every third word had a spelling error and it looked like a 7-year-old wrote it. The client offered me $5 for each page, but I didn't accept his offer because I knew that it wasn't worth the effort. After you gain some editing experience, you can distinguish how long it takes you to edit papers with various types or amounts of errors. That's when you will know if a task is worth your time or not. That's it for this lesson. I hope you learned something new from all this. The next lesson is about the usual areas of jobs in editing with examples from Upwork. See you there! I hope you brought some popcorn because this lesson is full of surprises. Fasten your seatbelts and stick to a chair because the ride is about to begin. I won't present dozens of possible niches or only 1 or 2. I will present 3. The top 3 niches that are most common. Now that's high-level animation. Definitely worth preparing popcorn. Book editors. Book editors work on full-length manuscripts from a massive variety of categories to choose from. Fiction, non-fiction, thriller, biography, and more. Books editing is a major commitment and one of the most intensive areas of editing. Make sure to familiarize yourself with the world of writing and publishing before you devote yourself to a book editing career. Unlike academic and web articles that often contain less than 10 pages, books include hundreds of pages, and book editors need to consider both writing and story elements. From one side, editing books is a profitable job, but on the other side, it's also time-consuming and complex. But not for you after you finish my course. Academic editors, please fly over here. Thank you. To make a career out of academic editing, you will need a postgrad degree in the relevant subject. It's not for everyone and is usually only a viable career option for those who already have a master's or PhD. For those of you who have a degree, academic editing is a smart choice. The more scarce your knowledge is, the higher your salary will be. And this niche demands both editing skills and academic knowledge. If you wish for a profitable job, this is a good option. Plus, there will be less competition in a specific area you specialize in. Wow, these effects are only getting better and better. Web editors create and edit content for various online sources. As a web editor, you might need to know how to apply search engine optimization tactics and sometimes to publish your writing with tools like WordPress. Variety, the web editing's strong point, and my motive to be a web editor. You receive a variety of articles about diverse products or topics and learn new things. Also, SEO tactics, for those who don't know, are about choosing words that get more traffic for the article. If you tell a client that you have SEO expertise, you will have better chances of getting hired. Bye, web editors. Alright, are you ready? Let's open the door to another dimension. This is an example of a book editing job that also requires experience with rhymes. Sometimes knowing how to edit isn't enough. Clients may ask for further specialization in proofreading skills in developmental editing or even in rhymes. Blog editor art niche. We run a large and successful blog in the art niche. Every month we publish several blog posts written by talented artists. We are looking for a talented editor with native English to join us for an ongoing assignment editing around 2 articles per week. As you can see, this web editing job is about art but doesn't ask for previous experience in the topic. You can jump blindly into the subject and learn about art while editing. It's a great example of why I like web editing, despite the higher competition. Need someone to polish my research proposal for PhD application. I wrote a 4-page research proposal on the economics of education for PhD application, and I need someone to polish my languages. Although this is an academic editing job, the client doesn't ask for a degree, but rather a person with solid language skills and experience editing academic documents. It shows that with both editing and proofreading skills, you can find jobs in all 3 niches. Still, you better pick one topic and focus all your efforts to specialize in it. The competition is harsh, and you need to give clients a reason to choose you. Have you decided which niche fits you the most? Before the end of the course, you will have editing tests in all 3 niches. Maybe that will help you choose. For now, I hope that you enjoyed the information I presented, and if not, I'm sure that these expensive effects are enough incentive for you to keep watching my course. No matter the niche you want to work in, be it book editing or web editing, you still better recognize the coming editing services. The next 2 types are related to book editing, and are the usual editing options for writers. Copy editing assures the text is free of grammatical errors and adheres to the standard editing checklist. The copy editor's job is not only to proofread the manuscript. He or she must ensure that the content is consistent, correct, and efficient. In short, a copy editor goes through proofreading and standard editing checklist to check for accuracy, consistency, and errors in grammar. Contrary to editing, which avoids proofreading and includes the book editing checklist, copy editing focuses less on the big picture and more on the writing's details on a sentence-by-sentence basis. If a writer considers his story elements or content believable and well-structured, yet hesitant about his writing quality, copy editing is the right choice. Developmental editing, also called structural editing, is looking at the big picture. Whereas the copy editor takes a micro view, drilling into the detail, the developmental editor goes macro. Their job is to enhance your idea's organization, structure your book's content better, and smooth the transition between ideas, not to examine spelling and grammar. In short, a developmental editor uses the book editing checklist. Yet, developmental editing isn't intended only for stories. It fits content-based books and articles too. Sadly, I don't focus on this side of developmental editing. During my course, you will learn about story developmental aspects, including organization, structure, and transition of story elements. So when is this type needed? If a writer is confident in his writing quality, yet hesitant that his story elements or content are full of holes and poorly structured, developmental editing is the desired choice. Line editing. As the name implies, a line editor performs a line-by-line review of the manuscript. He does not look at the big picture, but focuses on word choice and whether each sentence has the intended impact. To make sure each sentence works as intended, a line editor checks for clear and concise syntax. For example, the sentence, "While watching a movie, people who text on their phone are very annoying," is not clear. Who is watching? The people? Or does it mean that when you watch a movie, all people who text on their phone are very annoying? So a line editor would change it to "people who text on their phone while watching a movie are very annoying." He also distinguishes plot and character inconsistencies and corrects mood and tone. Line editing perfects your manuscript's quality and style, which is why it's also known as stylistic editing. If you wrote a commercial or a speech and you want your sentences to deliver a clear and impactful message, line editing is a smart choice. A line editor follows both the standard editing checklist and the book editing checklist. But besides these two, he also clarifies syntax and corrects mood and tone. Evaluation editing. An evaluation edit looks at your manuscript to assess structure, flow, completeness, and quality. The editor will usually provide a short message that summarizes his key points, areas of concern, and suggestions for the book. The evaluation should direct the writer on how to get the story to a publishable state. For example, going back to square one and having a developmental editor work it over, or hiring a line editor to help with voice and tone. Evaluation editing sheds light on hidden weak points of a writer's manuscript. It helps authors that debate what kind of editing their book needs or whether their self-correction will suffice. Proofreading. Proofreading is the last stage of the manuscript editing process. Proofreaders are the grammar inspectors who make sure no spelling or punctuation errors make it to the final version of your work. A proofreader often receives a style guide that notifies him of any unusual spelling or styles in the manuscript. For example, if the author wrote a fantasy novel and have invented some words. To clear things out, proofreading is a type of editing service and isn't related to the general term editing. And, as chefs sprinkle cherries on the cake for final touches, proofreaders check punctuation, grammar, and spelling to grant writing its perfection. Fact-checking. If a writer has a lot of niche information in his book, especially if it's a topic he has never written on before, he might consider getting a fact-checker. A fact-checker takes note of all the factual references in the book and confirms them via external sources. If he finds any insecurities, he will alert the writer right away. Sometimes, copy editors are fact-checking too. For instance, when they edit an academic document or other facts-based papers. We will have a future lesson about this process. There I will reveal essential fact-checking steps. That's it for this one. So which editing type caught your attention the most? Go back and think about that for a minute. Our next lesson will be keyboard shortcuts and autocorrect software. Both help not only in editing, but in any writing task you will do in the future. But enough spoilers, I'm waiting in the next lesson. Like 1 plus 1 equal 2, which I hope you all know, keyboard shortcuts plus practice equal faster writing. These commands are meant to save you time and effort, and it's up to you to stop using the old long ways and practice these new shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are a fantastic way to speed up writing at a computer, or any computer work. There are hundreds of individual keyboard shortcuts programmed into your PC or Mac. Yet, to save your time, I've compiled a list of the top 15 for editing your next article or story. Generally, you should always seek built-in keyboard shortcuts in every software you use, for example, in a video editing program or a captioning tool. You will understand once you adapt to using the following shortcuts. Your new speed will leave your mouth wide open. Ctrl X. Instead of deleting the text and then copying it, you get both actions in one click. Ctrl C. Instead of using your mouse to copy text every time, use this simple shortcut. Ctrl V. If you want to paste text or anything you copied, use this simple shortcut. Ctrl Z. The most helpful shortcut in my opinion is this. Any action you do can be undone by this easy keyboard shortcut. Now take a break and practice those shortcuts on Google Translate or Word or Notepad. Alt plus Tab. Switch between apps with this shortcut instead of with your mouse. Ctrl A. You use it to select all the text, also very useful. Ctrl D. This one is less usually used, but is important to know. You use it to duplicate the text. Ctrl S. For saving any progress you made without using your mouse. Ctrl F. You might know this one already, but when searching a specific word, that's the shortcut you need to use. Again, take a break and practice those shortcuts. Control with arrows. This shortcut helps to move more quickly between words and long text. Try playing with this one for a moment. Shift with any arrow key. This is for selecting specific things. Control plus Shift with any arrow key. Allows to quickly select a block of text. Stop the video and use each keyboard shortcut a few times. Get used to them and make sure you do those actions only by the shortcuts I taught you. Trust me, it will save you a lot of work time. As keyboard shortcuts, AutoCorrect software also equal faster writing. Grammarly, one of the best English autocorrect platforms out there. Like a metal detector, it spots pesky spelling, grammar, and punctuation errors. Grammarly can identify most spelling and grammar errors and suggest corrections and improvements. It has a handy Google Chrome extension that's activated whenever you use Google Translate or other websites, and a Microsoft Word extension for those who deal with daily English files. The free no-cost service is excellent. Try it, even if you don't plan on using it for editing. Exclusively, Grammarly's premium service gives more corrections and grammar suggestions. The premium service is a useful upgrade, but I wouldn't pay for it at its full cost. Personally, I bought it at a friendly price thanks to a 50% off discount they offered on their site. Now, let's have a look at how Grammarly works. Go to Google and write Grammarly Chrome extension. Then simply add Grammarly to Google Chrome. Let me show you how it works. If I write "let's go together" with spelling errors, it quickly identifies them and suggests ways to fix it. You can also double-click any word and get synonyms or other words for replacement. Now let's look on the extension itself. Here you have three options. I suggest activating all of them. They give you the decision on which pages Grammarly will be active, give or not give you suggestion for synonyms and similar words, or option for autocorrection of text. Now, if you have an English file and want to check it, go and press New Document. That's how it generally looks. You arrived at the finish line. Thank you for watching and enjoy the faster wheels you obtained. Next will be our last warm-up lesson before we begin learning the editing checklists. See you there!